Hello Doctor, we are Soft Warriors, and in this video we are going to present phase 2 of our project. These are my group members, and these are the contents of this presentation video.
So first of all, as for the introduction, for this phase is focused on analyzing and modeling of user requirement for digital mental health literacy hub for higher education students. So the objective of this phase is to transform user needs into structured requirement models, which is like use case diagram and activity diagram. And then the purpose of this document is to translate elicited requirement, which is the phase 1, into formal models and provide visual and textual representation.
First of all, we are going to discuss about the use case diagram. This is the use case diagram for digital mental health literacy hub system. There are four main actors, which is administrator, higher education student, mental health professional, and faculty members. There are also external actor, which is AI tools. This use case diagram contains 8 use cases, which is share and store resources, access resources, view student progress, review flag queries, provide instant feedback, join peer support forum, assess self-assessment tools, and provide feedback.
So next we are going to discuss the use case specification and the UML activity diagram for each use case. For the first use case, which is store and share resources, there are 3 actors, which is mental health professional, admin, and AI tools system. There are 2 preconditions, which is MHP and admin are logged into the system, AI tools and system modules are active. And we are going to discuss normal flows in the next slides. There are 4 alternative flows. The first one is AI-generated articles, and the second one is MHP manually search for articles through external resources. The third one is admin move the resources from draft to the main resources database, and the last one is admin request revision of draft resources. And there are 2 exception flows. The first one is system failure uploading draft resources by MHP, and the second one is system failure uploading resources by admin. And there are 3 post conditions. This is the activity diagram for the first use case. Firstly, the mental health professional logs into the system and chooses to either use AI tools or search manually to gather articles. After creating articles and quizzes, the MHP uploads draft to the system. The admin then reviews this draft to ensure compliance with policies. Approved resources are moved to the database, while for the rejected ones, a feedback will be sent to MHP for revision. If upload errors occur, the system notifies the MHP to retry. So the second use case is access resources. There are 2 actors, which is higher education student and system AI tools. The 2 preconditions are student must be logged into the system and resources are approved and available. Same here, we are going to continue normal flows in the next slides. And there are 3 alternative flows. The first one is get desired resources manually, the second one is attempt quiz, and the third one is use chatbot to request resources. And the exception flow is system error during resource retrieval. And there are 3 post conditions. This is activity diagram for second use case. Students will first log in and go to the resource page. If students choose to search for resources manually, students are required to scroll through the page in order to get the desired resources. If students choose to use chatbot function, they can get instant resources location instead of finding one by one. If students choose to attempt quiz, then the quiz results are saved after completion. If the system fails to display content, students are notified to try again.
The third use case is view student progress. There are 2 actors, which is faculty members and mental health professional. The precondition are faculty member has logged into the system, the student has completed modules or self-assessment, the system have collected relevant data. The normal flows we'll discuss in next slide. Alternative flows, first is view aggregated progress for class, filter student by engagement level, and flag student for follow-up. The session flow, the system notifies the faculty if no progress data exists for the selected students. There are 2 post conditions. This is the activity diagram for use case 3. First of all, faculty member will log into the system and navigate to the student progress. The faculty member can choose to view progress in group or class or filter progress by engagement level. Then, faculty member will analyze the data and decide whether the student need to follow up or not. If the student need to follow up, faculty member will flag student for follow up or referral, and the system will record the action and notify the mental health professional. The use case 4 is provide instant feedback. There are 2 actors, which is mental health professional and higher education student. The precondition are a counseling session between the student and mental health professional has taken place. The mental health professional is logged into the system. The normal flow we'll discuss later. Alternative flows is provide instant feedback to student and schedule next follow-up if needed. The obsession flow, if system fails to save the feedback due to technical issues, an error message is displayed to the mental health professional. There are 3 post conditions. This is the activity diagram for use case 4. First of all, the mental health professional will log into the system and navigate to the student referral and session history. Then, the mental health professional will select the student that they want to give feedback, and then they provide instant feedback to student and submit the feedback to the student. If the student need another follow-up, they will schedule the new follow-up and set a reminder to the student. Then the system will log the feedback and make it available to student.
Now I'm going to explain about use case 5, which is assess self-assessment tool. We got two actors here, which is the students and also the system. The precondition of this use case is that student need to log into the system. The normal flow at here is the system will display a dashboard and student choose to start self-assessment. The system will navigate them to the question page and display the questions. The students need to answer each questions. If they cancel for answering the questions, the system will return back to the dashboard and the use case abort. However, if the system fails to retrieve the answers, the system will display error message for them and the NF4, which is system will display the questions again. And after that, complete answer the questions, they need to click on the submit. The post condition on this use case is that student can complete the self-assessment successfully. This is the activity diagram of use case 5, Assess Self-Assessment Tool. As we explained at the previous slide, the student will log into the system and the system will display dashboard and the student choose to start self-assessment. After they complete the self-assessment, they need to click the submit. Next is use case 6, which is provide feedback. We got two actors here, which is the student and also the system. The precondition of this use case is that the students need to log into the system and complete the self-assessment. The normal flow at here is the system will validate student answer and store the assessment record to the database. Then the system will update successfully, analyze results, and also generate feedback. And before they display the result and feedback, they will verify the severity of student mental health condition. And if they detect that condition is serious, they will include mental health professional contact information in the feedback and display the result and feedback for students. The essential flow at here is if the validation fail, or the system failed to store records, or failed to generate the feedback, they will display an error message on the page. The post condition of this use case is the student can review the result and feedback on the system. This is the activity diagram of use case 6, provide feedback. As we explained at the previous slides, this activity diagram shows how the system validate and generate feedback for students.
So for the 7th use case is the joint peer support forum, and the actors that involved in this use case is higher education students only. The precondition for this use case is the student is an active higher education student, so the student must be logged into the system to do this use case. What happened after this use case is the student is actively participating or has successfully posted in the forum under the pseudonym, and the post is logged, stored, and visible, which is not flagged. As for the alternative flow, exception flow, and normal flow, I will explain in detail in the next slide, which is in the activity diagram. As for the activity diagram for use case number 7, join peer support forum, we start with the student log into the system and verify like usual by the system, and then the student will navigate to the peer support forum section, and then at the same time the system will assign a pseudonym to the student, which is anonymous actor, and then the student will decide whether to post or reply or to just browse through the forum. And if the student create or reply to a post, the system will log or record the history of their action, and then filter and moderate the post content so that the system will decide whether the content is approved or not by referencing to the predefined rules, and then if not, the admin will enter as it will show the flag content by the system, and then the admin will now approve if it is appropriate content or not, and if it is, then it will post and publish like usual, but if it is not, it will be deleted and stored in the database. For the last use case, which is use case number 8, which is review flag queries. For this use case, the actors that are involved in this use case is administrator only. The precondition is flag content exists in the system, and the admin must be logged into the system with valid credentials. And the post condition is flag post is reviewed and processed so that there are no flag posts. And then inside are updated in reporting tools for forum trends, which is help in the mental health professionals. And the system logs the action taken for audit analysis. As for the alternative flow, exception flow, and normal flow, I will explain in detail in the next slide. As for the last use case, which is review flag queries, the flow starts from the system, detect a flag query, and then it will send a notification to the admin. If the admin responds, then the admin will log into the system and verify like usual. But if it's not, the system will be looping and provide a notification to other admin until one of the admin responds. And then the admin will navigate to the moderation panel and select flag post. The system will check whether the flag post is available or not. If available, then the admin can review the content. If it is not, then it will end. After admin review the content approved or not. If it is approved, then it will end. If not, the content will be deleted and issues warning by the system. So if the issues warning comes from the same account, then the system will have to suspend the account. If it is not, then it will end. So before all this flow end, they will update the log and record the post history. That's it.
Now I'm going to explain about the UML domain class diagram of the system. This is the domain class diagram for the system. The system have generalized all types of user, the higher education students, mental health professional, faculty members, and administrators to form a common user class. The students will access the resource, self-assessment, and community module. The mental health professional can upload the resource, but the resource need to be validated by admin before it can be accessed by students. The faculty member and mental health professional can review and analyze students' progress report and provide the instant feedback. In the community module, it allows students to participate in discussion, but it will be monitored by admins to ensure that the community has no misleading or negative statement.
Next, I'm going to discuss state transition diagram in this project. In this figure, it illustrates the state transition diagram for the forum post creation process. Initially, the system receives a new post and transition to the validation state. During validation, the post is checked based on the predefined rules. If the rules are validated, the system triggers the reject post action and moves to the rejected state. If the post passes validation, it proceeds to the accepted state. Then the state transition diagram ends here. This figure illustrates the state transition diagram for the self-assessment process. It starts when the system receives a request to begin the self-assessment. The student then answers questions in the do self-assessment state. After finishing, the answers are submitted and analyzed in the analyze mental health condition state. The system saves the responses and results. Then the system checks how serious the condition of the student is in the evaluate condition seriousness state. If the student's condition is serious, the student is given mental health professional contact information. If not, the state transition diagram ends without further action.
So the conclusion is this phase 2 project transform user requirements into comprehensive UML models, which is use case diagrams, activity or state diagrams, and domain class diagrams to define system interactions, workflows, and structure. These models ensure alignment with stakeholder needs, validate functionality, and lay a strong foundation for development. By formalizing student support, administrative process, and mental health workflows, we bridge user needs with technical execution for a responsive student-centric platform.
Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.